Welcome to our 8th episode of the HKN Connection. My name is Katie. I'm a former student governor to the HKN Board of Governors and the current PR and Communications Committee co-chair. I'm also a PhD candidate in electrical engineering and your host for today. So today our episode is focused around how HKN chapters and members, and even people across IEEE, can be engaging with IEEE's pre-university activities. And our guests for today are Donna Schultz and Lorena Garcia. So welcome to you both. Thank you so much for doing this with us today. And I'm going to just give you a brief introduction, and then we can get into some of the questions that we have for you. So Donna Schultz joined IEEE in 2018 and serves as the Senior STEM Outreach Education Manager overseeing IEEE's pre-university initiatives. Prior to IEEE, she was the Director of In-District Initiatives for Rutgers Center for Mathematics, Science, and Computer Education. Donna began her career as a mechanical engineer with Honeywell International, and she later transitioned to a career in education and taught at the elementary/primary level. Since she left the classroom in 2001, Donna has developed, coordinated, and implemented STEM programming for students and educators at Rutgers Douglas College, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, Stevens Institute of Technology, and Rutgers University. And then our other guest for today is Lorena Garcia. So Lorena has been a passionate volunteer since she joined IEEE 18 years ago, serving in different positions at the Columbia Section, Region 9, the Circuits and Systems Society, MGA, PSPB, among others. She has been a member of the Educational Activities Board for the last 6 years, where she is currently serving as chair of the Pre-University Education Coordinating Committee. She is also HKN Governor for Regions 7 to 10 and an ADA chapter member. Lorena is an electronics engineer and holds a Master's of Science degree in Electronic and Computer Engineering. She has more than 12 years of experience in academic administration, teaching, and research in important institutions in Colombia. Currently, she is an assistant professor and director of laboratories and infrastructure of the School of Engineering and Basic Sciences of Central University in Bogota, Colombia. So again, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you both taking the time today. And first, we want to give our audience just a little bit of context. So Lorena, could you tell us a little bit about what the IEEE Tri-Engineering Initiative is and how it got started as well?
Sure, Katie. Well, IEEE-TriEngineering.org was launched in 2006 as a pre-university engineering education web portal. It has the purpose of offering resources for educators to assist them in bringing engineering and technology into their classrooms and providing students with resources to inspire them about STEM careers. Since then, the Tri-Engineering portal has been growing in terms of the number and diversity of resources available for teachers, students, and volunteers. We also have expanded the Tri-Engineering brand to other types of programs, as the Tri-Engineering Summer Institute, which is a 2-week summer college experience for 8th to 12th grade students to introduce them to engineering and technology, and Tri-Engineering Together, which is a teacher-guided online learning platform that matches 3rd to 5th graders to mentors from industry. All these Tri-Engineering programs are managed by the IEEE Educational Activities Board through the Pre-University Education Coordinating Committee.
That's awesome. It sounds like there's so many amazing initiatives going on. And, IEEE is a really big organization too. It's the largest professional society in the world. So how does this fit into that large organization overall?
Well, if you see the strategic plan of IEEE, you will find that one of IEEE's goal is to enhance public understanding of engineering and technology. And when you go to its core values, you will find that one of them is encouraging education at all levels and at all times. Well, Tri-Engineering is the main tool for working towards that goal. I think we provide educational resources, inspiration, and guidance that empowers educators, counselors, and their students around the world, fostering the next generation of technology innovators. We also want to embrace all IEEE communities around the globe and employ the power of IEEE volunteer expertise, experience, and reach to impact as many students as possible.
Awesome. So, looking at the Tri-Engineering website, there seems to be so many amazing resources, and you've already touched on a few of them for teachers, students, and volunteers, as well as opportunities too for groups to get support and funding to help create some of their own STEM initiatives in their own communities as well. So let's try to dig into all of these a little bit more. So with the STEM portal, it's one of the volunteer resources that we have on the Try Engineering website. So Donna, could you maybe tell us a little bit about what it is and how IEEE volunteers can be utilizing this resource as well?
Sure. Thanks, Katie. So a couple of years ago, we began to work with the University of Chicago to assess the kind of impact we were having in IEEE pre-university. And this led us to reimagine how we did pre-university at IEEE. We realized that our very best asset are our volunteers, and they were already doing pre-university work. And we really want to support them and leverage our global reach by creating a volunteer STEM portal. So this new portal that we launched in January is a place, it really is the place to be for all things related to pre-university STEM programs, and not only programs, but activities that are happening across IEEE. And whether you're a volunteer in a section, a technical society, an affinity group, a student branch, or an Eta Kappa New chapter, the portal offers a range of resources to help volunteers elevate their existing programs and assist in creating brand new programs. And the portal consists of a searchable database of volunteer and partner developed programs and activities. And it's a place where volunteers can find inspiration from other volunteer STEM projects. Volunteers are able to share their program on the portal with other IEEE volunteers. They can grow their STEM network and build their local STEM community. And volunteers can also share the results of their programs so that we can demonstrate the collective impact IEEE is making to inspire the STEM professionals of tomorrow.
Wow. So, I really like how it's a way to both get inspiration, but it's also a way to pay it forward too. You once you do this, you can also contribute ideas and help other people to grow their own programs. So I really like that aspect of this. So for all of us, IEEE volunteers and all these different organizational units across IEEE, what is the process for submitting our activities to the STEM portal? And would they go through some sort of review process? Is there some back and forth? What's that like?
Sure. So the process to submit a program on the portal is very easy. We're modifying a little bit, and there will be small changes that will be launched this summer. So I'm going to tell you sort of what the new process will be. So very excited about it. Um, the very first step is submitting your program. It takes about 30 minutes to complete the program submission process, and it includes very general information like program title, program description, who's the target audience, what are the learning objectives, and the new piece is the self-evaluation form. It's very short and sweet. There's only 3 elements to it, and it's like a checkbox, so really short. And once you submit it, you just press a button, submit. You get a confirmation email that it was received. And then there's a short review process by staff, just making sure that nothing was missing, right? That you didn't forget to fill out the self-evaluation form, that you've checked all the boxes, and that everything's clear. You get a confirmation email again telling you about step 2. And step 2 is that you submit an implementation guide. And really all that is it's a resource so that when the program comes onto the portal, it gives other volunteers more detail about your program and how they might be able to implement it within their community. And so you get a link in this email to fill out that. And that too will take, anywhere from 30 minutes or more, depending on if you have all the materials ready about your program, and not too bad. And then you get a final confirmation email that you get, not a final, you get an email, a confirmation email saying that that was received. And then that moves to step 2, which is the, step 3, we're on step 3 now, which is the program review process. And our pre-university education coordinating committee, the PECC, Lorena is our chair, they review the programs, and they do that within a 15-day time span. And the evaluators use the self-evaluation tool, and they provide feedback based on all that was received in the first phase and in the implementation guide. And then the volunteer will get the final email saying the program is submitted to the portal, it's posted on the portal. And they also get, this is the new piece, we really wanted them to get the feedback from the evaluator so that they could, maybe there's a great resource that they were unaware of, or maybe whatever it might be, that they would get that feedback from the evaluators. And one final piece, which is really exciting, is in that same email, they also get a volunteer STEM portal logo. It has an embed code. And then whenever a volunteer submits an event on vTools that is tied to the program on the portal, they then can put that logo on that event so that everyone will know that their program, their event is on the portal. And we want that event, it's so important that everybody knows this connection and that these events are happening. And so the event will get this special volunteer STEM portal logo designation. And we're really excited about that.
That's awesome. And it sounds overall like a pretty straightforward process, but also a way to, continually improve your event as well too, with some of that reviewer feedback and taking those lessons learned and passing them on to the next people that may be trying to do your event as well. So that's really awesome. And can you tell us if there's any limitations as to, who can submit activities? You have to be an IEEE volunteer to do this. How does that work? And Lorena, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it is only needed to be an active IEEE member because you need to register using your IEEE account. But anybody, any IEEE member who is involved in a STEM outreach program can submit it to the STEM portal. We indeed encourage volunteers for all organizational units, as Donna mentioned, sections, societies, chapters, and of course, HKN chapters, to share their experience and help us inspire other members in doing STEM outreach activities. We know that HKN chapters are very hard committed to help their local communities. It's one of their main goals. So, and I'm sure that many of them have been doing great activities to engage students in STEM. So we want to know about those efforts and let them know also that we have available resources in this STEM portal for helping them in developing their programs.
That's great. And, speaking of resources, I've also seen, various resources and programs like lesson plans and activity guides and webinars for teachers as well. So can you tell us, Donna, a little bit about these resources and, maybe give us a few examples of what's available?
Absolutely. So the tryengineering.org site has resources for educators, students, and volunteers. And for our educators, we have over 130 lesson plans that cover all pre-university grade levels, as well as a range of STEM topics. We also have a special engineering lesson plan toolkit that features our most popular lesson plans with added video overview and a PowerPoint. And these lesson plans and this toolkit, these can be used by our volunteers in their STEM outreach activities. I also wanted to mention, we recently began a new initiative called Try Engineering Tuesday, and it's a monthly blog and webinar series that features our IEEE technical societies with related activities for pre-university students. We're calling it a student guide. And the current topics that we have on the site today, we have oceanic engineering, aerospace engineering, and photonics. And we're really excited. We have electrical vehicles coming up in July and a bunch more fun topics coming up in the fall, including solar energy. And each topic, this is really fun, gets its own badge, digital badge that can be awarded to the students, and then they can collect them all. So we're excited about this new initiative.
Yeah, that sounds really, really cool. And so can volunteers be submitting activities and lesson plans to help grow these resources too? Because I know, all these different OUs or even HCAN chapters, they're making their own, skill building workshops or electronics workshops or webinars and stuff like that. And it'd be really cool to also share some of that with the larger IEEE community.
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that because we are currently developing a process for our volunteers and our broader STEM community of educators to submit resources to Try Engineering. The resources might be, like you just mentioned, a bunch, activities, lesson plans, tutorials, even articles. And I have seen so many great resources developed by our volunteers, and we need to share them with our community. So the process will include a review team, and the plan is to roll this out by the end of the year. We're really excited about it.
That's really, really awesome. So, and then on the student side, there's also some tools and some resources available to them too on the Try Engineering website. So can you tell us a little bit about what some of these resources and tools and, things that they can take advantage of?
Sure. So we have our student section and on Try Engineering. And I think the heart of the student section are the games for sure. And we have games for all grades, K to 12 or ages 5 to 18. And they range in topics from inventing to coding to environmental engineering and electrical engineering and pretty much everything in between. And in addition to our games, we also have a STEM fields page that features various engineering disciplines. And we're rolling out a new format for these pages. We're really excited about this. It will include a historical snapshot, an amazing engineers section, global impact section, and a keep learning section, and a bunch more. And we are very excited about rolling this out, these new pages out this year.
That's that's so cool. I mean, engineering is such a broad field, and you learn about more and more and more every day. Or I should even say, STEM is such a broad field, and you learn about all these new applications and jobs and career opportunities. So it's so cool that there's a way to showcase that and really start to show the next generation of students, you know, some of what the possibilities are because they're truly, truly endless.
That's
So
great.
yeah, so we've talked about different resources that people can use in their STEM initiatives. And we mentioned like the STEM portal. There are also, a lot of IEEE-OUs like the sections and the student branches and chapters that are doing their own STEM initiatives already that they could be submitting to the STEM portal, but maybe they also need a little bit of support to help get them off the ground or grow these initiatives too. And with tryengineering.org and IEEE's pre-university activities, there's a STEM grant program. So can you tell us a little bit about this STEM grant program and what is it really intended to fund?
Absolutely. I'm so excited about this program. The grant program is for IEEE volunteers who want to implement a pre-university STEM program or expand on an existing program in their local community. And the grant funds can support the cost of the implementation of the program, like for example, materials, venue fees, supplies, food, that kind of thing. And the 2021 application window began on the 15th of May and will end July 1. And the goal of this program, we really want to support our volunteers in their STEM outreach initiatives, as well as building their local STEM communities. And we are so excited to see many new programs and are thrilled that this grant initiative will support more and more students around the globe. So just really a cool program, really excited about it.
Yeah, and so I see that these IEEE-OUs, they can receive up to 2,000 US dollars with this grant program. So what's the application process like for applying for that? And, could you specify we only need $1,000 or is it just always a $2,000 chunk? How does that work?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, it's up to 2,000. So anyone can apply for if you need, less than that, you need 200 or 500. You're able to apply for that amount as well. It's up to that maximum. But the application process is pretty simple, very similar to other grant application processes. The application is standard. It includes items like project goals and objectives, your needs statement, project description, benefits, a timeline, your budget, and your evaluation plan. And as I mentioned earlier, the grant application process will end July 1, so we're coming up against it, but we're really excited. We got quite a few applicants already. Now, once that closes on July 1, the review of the applications begins. We're working on developing our review team. We have that happening as we speak, and they will be reviewing using a rubric that was supplied on the site. And we have a couple of weeks to get the review done, and then we're going to be excited to announce the grant recipients on July 15th. And the grant awardees will implement their program between July and December, and they'll be providing a midterm report and then they'll end by submitting their program to the portal so that then others will know all about it and can implement, replicate it if they see fit. So we're really excited about feeding into the STEM portal and providing more opportunities for our volunteers.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, it's really great timing for our HCAN chapters too. If you're looking to start a new program come fall semester, you can put together your application, have some funding, and be able to get it off the ground, this coming fall. So that's a really exciting opportunity, and I'd really encourage all of our HCAN chapters and people listening to take advantage of that. There's still time. You can hustle, you can put together an application and have that ready to go in the next few months, which is really, really exciting. So, you know, kind of tying everything together now, we've talked about all these different opportunities throughout this episode, as well as highlighted some of the ways that HCAN chapters and members can start to engage with these opportunities. So could you kind of give us a summary of, how and why you think HCAN members and chapters can be engaging with IEEE's, pre-university activities? And Lorena, maybe you can take this one.
Absolutely. Well, we want all IEEE and HKN members to join us in our vision to encourage youth to see themselves as someone who can improve the world through STEM. So as we have mentioned, there are many ways to engage. First, of course, organizing pre-university STEM activities. Those can be directed to students, educators, or even parents. And after completing the events, reporting the results, because we want to measure the impact that we are collectively making as IEEE, and to share that with all the IEEE membership. Sharing their pre-university STEM programs in the STEM portal will allow us to publish them to other IEEE, so other IEEE volunteers around the world can learn from their success and feel inspired to replicate them. And of course, if an HKN chapter has an idea for a new program or wants to replicate anyone that is on the STEM portal and needs funding for making it a reality, we encourage them to apply for the grant program before July 1st. I know that it's a short notice, but it's an easy going application, as Donna mentioned. So I'm really willing to receive a lot of applications from HKN chapters. Our desire is that all volunteers and HKN members use the resources that we have on the portal, but also they can help us to create more resources. In HKN, we have the greatest students, so they can share their career profile to inspire others. They can suggest hands-on activities to turn into lesson plans. They can create games to help students develop engineering, computer, and technology skills, or share with us any other resource that it can help us to motivate and inspire other volunteers. I am very happy to tell you that we have created a volunteer engagement working group. We have selected an IEEE volunteers all around the world that have a lot of experience doing this type of activities, STEM outreach activities, with the purpose of developing strategies for motivating, engaging, and training volunteers who wants to be involved in pre-university activities. So we expect to be launching more resources soon that will be available for all. We're preparing to launch at the end of July, an IEEE STEM Ambassador program. We want to recognize IEEE volunteers for their contributions to pre-university STEM education. So if anyone listening to this podcast is really involved in STEM education, we want to know about your work and give you this recognition, and of course, helping you to be more active in this type of activities. We're also looking for volunteers to help us in our translation team, to help us review the automatic translation of our lesson plans to different languages. We already have a group of 12 volunteers covering Spanish, French, and other ones. But of course, we want that our lesson plans are available without restrictions to anybody. So if you manage a second language, English and another language, we will be happy to have you in this translation team. We're also building our STEM community, so I invite everybody interested in this topic to join our community in Collaboratech that is called IEEE University Community, and in Facebook we have a Try Engineering Facebook group, and we are there we're posting all our initiative, all the things that are coming. And so I expect to see a great involvement from HKM members in these programs.
That's awesome. And we'll be sure to link all of these different things in our episode description as well, so people can have easy access to the Facebook group and the Clevertech group and the tryengineering.org website and all those great things, so that they can really, jump in and start to take advantage of these opportunities. So as we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or takeaways, anything that we didn't touch on today that you'd like to, make sure that we talk about before we end? And Donna, would you like to go first?
Sure. I'll just close by saying that I'm just so excited about building our STEM community and learning about more amazing volunteer programs and supporting them through the portal. I cannot wait to see how many students, teachers, parents, and volunteers, students, teachers, and parents that our volunteers reach, and the kind of positive impact that they are making around the world. So just excited about all that we're doing, and looking forward to working with Ada Kappa Nu and getting them engaged with the portal.
Great. And Lorena, what about you?
Well, thanks, Katie, for the opportunity to sharing the information of all pre-university programs to HKM members. I really hope to see their involvement, and of course, we are willing to help them in any initiative that they have. Please feel free to contact us, and we will happy to work together.
Great, great. So as we wrap up, just a few reminders to all of our listeners. We do have an upcoming chapter leaders call on June 28th. And pretty soon too, nominations for the HCAN Outstanding Student Award are closing. That deadline is June 30th. And additionally too, we have the IBM Student Hub. If you sign up before June 30th, they will feed a child for a day. So they're having a World Hunger Initiative currently. So that's, a great community to be a part of as well, and an opportunity to, do some good in the world. And then lastly, just one more reminder too, the deadline for these IEEE pre-university STEM grants is July 1st. So make sure you take advantage of that too. Get together with, some of your colleagues, put together an application, and, can't wait to see all the outreach activities that you do coming up in these next few months. Also, be sure to check out the latest issue of The Bridge magazine, which is themed around advances in solar cell design and spotlights some of the amazing work being done across our chapters and with our members and partners. You can read it online or in the IEEE app. So thank you again, both Donna and Lorena, one last time. We really appreciate you taking the time today and talking with us. And thank you to everybody who's watching or listening. Be sure to subscribe and like this episode so you don't miss future episodes of the HCAN Connection. And with that, thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.